Hi guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Alice Love. Thanks for tuning back in. Today we're going to do, and I've got a big box down here, a battle of the beauty sponges. So this is all the sort of dupes to the beauty blender, including the original beauty blender in here. So there's a few different categories. There's sort of the ones I love and what I use each one for, and then there's a few that I don't like that I'd sort of warn you off. I've used quite a few that are sort of in between, average ones that haven't made the video, otherwise I'd go on forever. So we've just got a few of the worst and then a few of the best. So before I get started, please subscribe down below. Obviously turn the little notification bell on if you want to get notified when I put new videos up. I post twice a week. I'm always interested in hearing your comments on requests or any comments you've got on the video, so leave those down below as well. And let's get started. So I'm going to start with this little one from Ecotools. So first thing I'd say is all of these sponges have been washed. So any stains that you see, that gives you an indication of how well they wash. This is also them at their biggest because they are currently wet, obviously completely soaked and squeezed out, which is how they're intended to be used to stop the product soaking up. You can use them dry, it will give you a more full coverage, but it will also soak in a lot more of your product, and you'll also find that the blender's a lot firmer. They become softer and more squeezy when they're wet. So everyone's wet, so this is them at the biggest you'll see. So this beauty blender's from Ecotools and it comes in a pack of 2 with, I will just show you the other one so you can see this larger one here, which I'll talk about later. So it comes in a pack of 2, and this one is a beauty sponge that I didn't expect to like. I bought the set for that one. However, this has got a really specific use and I love it for that. So this is a lot more dense, so that's me squeezing it, and you can see it's a bit firmer than some of the other ones I'll talk about. And it's got this, I'll do an up close in case you can't see, but a flat edge here, a straight line across the top, and then a flat edge there, but that is smaller than this side. Now what I've been really enjoying using this for is sort of cream products, but not my base product. So I haven't enjoyed using it as foundation all over. It's really small, it hasn't got the pointy end that some of them have to get in the creases, so I haven't enjoyed it for that. I've loved it for cream products such as cream contour, cream bronzer, and in particular my favourite use is cream highlighter. So I put a blob of like the liquid highlighter on the back of my hand and dab it along this sharp edge, and then dab it along the high points of the face, down the centre of the nose, under the brow bone, up the cheek, again Cupid's bow, above the brow bone if you like it there, wherever you want to use it. Then I turn it round and use the round edge to blend that out and leave no sharp lines, and blend all of the cream highlighter in. So very specific use, but I love it for that. Price wise, at the moment I believe you can only buy it as part of a duo, but the duo's only £9.99, so it's pretty good value considering the original beauty blender on its own is £16 for one. So that is that one. Yeah, love that one, but only for a specific use. I'll then go in with the Real Techniques, and this is the Marble Diamond Sponge. Now this washes really well considering you know, it's white and grey and you can only see ever such a little bit of staining in the middle there, and I use it a lot. So it does wash well. It's a lot more expensive than its counterpart, which I talked about in last week's video, which is, this is from Real Techniques as well, and this is a lot more expensive. The exact price I believe is £12 for this one. Now what I would say with this is, this is under the category for me, so I'd say this one is under best for cream product, so cream highlighter, cream bronzer, like I say. This for me is under best beauty sponge for something like a tinted moisturiser, a BB cream, a CC cream. So I don't get the point of these diamond shaped edges. I find them really faffy and I don't enjoy using them. I do enjoy using the sharp point to get around the nose and for concealer, and I enjoy using the flat bit to bop it all over my face, but it's that big by the time you take into consideration that these sides touch the face as well, that I just find for a normal foundation it works fine. I'm not saying you can't use it for that, but there are better for that. Whereas this, when you're using something more like a tinted moisturiser or a BB cream, and the whole point is very get it on quick and go, you're not wanting to spend ages doing a really full face of makeup, I think this is absolutely perfect because of how big it is. I mean, maybe I've got a small face, but literally a few dabs and my whole face is covered with this. So I really like, look how squishy and soft it is. It doesn't feel like you're whacking yourself in the face like some of them do. It's ever so soft. It doesn't soak up loads of the product. It's not too pricey. It's more than quite a few of them, but still less than the Beauty Blender. But this for me definitely falls under the best sponge for lighter bases, a more quick sort of everyday look than a full flawless finish. So that is that one. I will then talk about the Makeup Revolution sponge. Now this is a brand you can get in Superdrug in the UK. I'm not sure where you can get it in the US. I'll try and link it down below. Nice and squidgy. Certainly not, let me just compare to this one again that I talked about in my last video. This, if you can see, is much squidgier than this one, but this is still very soft. It's not firm, you're not hitting yourself in the face. It's just not as squidgy as, say, that, or for example this one that we've just discussed. So it's firmer. But when it swells, it is definitely smaller than quite a few of them. I don't know if you can see there the comparison. And so this, for me, falls under, by far, the best beauty sponge for using with a cushion foundation. So any of the little foundations that come in a pot, you flick open and you've got a sponge full of your foundation. For me, this is the best. And I only discovered that just a few days ago. I was using it, you know, just with my normal foundations, and I did like it and I was testing it out, but I just felt like I didn't want to reach for it over some of the other ones. This one, for example, it was sitting on the side. However, when I went to use a cushion foundation, what I found is, obviously you've only got, you know, a little opening with a cushion foundation, a little circle, and some of those are too big to sort of get in, whereas this, even the biggest flat side that you get on it is small enough to really easily dab in and get a good amount of product on here. And because it's ever so slightly firmer than the others, I then find when you go onto the face with it, it gives you a much more flawless base, and it almost gives you, makes the foundation almost slightly more full coverage than it would with some of the other sponges or with a brush. So I really like this for a cushion foundation. It washes fairly well. I'll do an up close, a close up for you. You can see some slight staining, but it is a very light coloured beauty blender, so I don't think you can hold it against it too much for that tiny bit of staining. And it's £5.99, so again, very good value beauty sponge. Then what I will do is actually tell you about the two original beauty blenders. So I've got a black and a pink. They do loads of other colours. For a very long time, I hated all the other beauty sponges that I tried. And as I mentioned in last week's video, I couldn't stand the Real Technique sponge. I actually threw it away first time round. I'm convinced it's a different sponge this time round. I could be wrong. And I only ever stuck with these. They're really squidgy. I mean, there's a slight difference in the texture, you know, one is firmer than the other, but they're very similar. And they are amazing. I mean, you can see I need to get rid of this one and get a new one. It's not washing up anymore. But what I've now found is that all of these other beauty blends, what they have in common is this flat edge. And for me, I just find that a lot easier to apply my base all over. I find it gives a better finish, it's quicker and it's easier. So I'm just not reaching for these almost at all. And that change has probably only happened in the last probably month, because I would say even when people were asking for ideas for my birthday, I'd said, oh, I really need a new beauty blender, but just the original, just get me the original beauty blender, no sort of copies. And within that last month, I've just found that I'm really not reaching for this anymore as much as I am some of these other ones, depending on which product I'm using. So they're £16 each. This one in particular, when you wash it, a lot of the dye comes out, like you get pink in the sink. So I am going to bin this one because that concerns me that there's so much dye in it that when you even just wash it with a bit of, you know, gentle soap, that's coming up everywhere. So that's a no. This one you don't get the same. I do like it, I just prefer the flat edge of the other ones. So let's go on to this one. I discussed it in my March favourites. This for me would fall under the category of best all-round beauty sponge. For just a normal cream base, I find that the surface area on the face of this is perfect. The point means that you can perfectly get under the eye. Just really, really enjoy it. It gives a flawless base. It doesn't wash amazingly, I don't know if you can see that stain there, but it washes quite well considering the beating that it takes. You can buy it in a pack of 4. I said on last week's video, £12. When I've looked at it, I think it's £17.99. Even so, that's for 4 sponges, so they are really good value. Yeah, this is just the best all-round sponge. Then we've got the Ecotools one, which I mentioned. Now, I wanted to just talk about it because it obviously does come in a pair. This would be probably my second choice after this one for just general foundation usage. What I would say, if you compare it to say this one, they're very similar in shape, but you've got a much bigger face there than the biggest face on this, and then you've got a smaller face which is a similar side to the biggest one on this. So the proportions are just a bit different, and I find that it doesn't work as well in a cushion foundation like this one does, but it doesn't work quite as well as on a cream foundation as this one. So it is good, it's just almost a little bit redundant in my drawer because there's always one I'd reach for a little bit more. Again, the bottom is round, so you haven't got that nice sharp point, which I really enjoy for under the eye. Now I know you have got a flat edge, so you can get under there. I just don't enjoy that edge as much as a point. Again, around those you can get there, I just prefer the point. So, you know, it's not bad. It's just a shame that actually I've ended up enjoying this sponge a lot more than this sponge. That is all of the good ones. So quick recap: cream products, highlighters, contour, best all-rounder, best light coverage, BBCC tinted moisturiser, best for a cushion foundation. So they're the best categories. Then we've got beauty blenders, I think overpriced, overrated, and the Ecotool, lovely, nice sponge, just a few that are slightly better out there on the marketplace. So from the good to the bad, let me find them, they're all rolling around down here. This is the L'Oreal beauty sponge that you can get in the UK. Now I know there's a pink L'Oreal sponge that you can get in the US that the beauty bloggers are loving, and I'd really like to try, but you can't get it over here. Now, from looking at the shape, we've got a flat side, which I love, that should be a plus. We've got a point, which I love, as you've heard for concealer, that should be a plus. And we've got the round bit to blend it out. However, this is it expanded, and this is almost the same size as it not wet. And it means that it's still quite firm. I don't know if you can see compared to the others. Let me just give you like a idea of how bouncy they are. So it just almost feels like you're hitting yourself in the face. It's too firm. It almost bounces off the makeup. So for me, this is a no-no. I think it's £5.99, and I wanted to put this one in. Although there are worse out there, because this is in Boots and Superdrug, I think it's one that a lot of you might think, oh, I'll try that one. Save your money, go for one of the others that I've mentioned. Then, these are literally the worst beauty blenders I've ever used, and that's why I've kept them. As I say, there's a few that were a bit meh that I've not included. This is them wet. I can barely squeeze it. It is rock hard. I wonder if you can hear this. Like, it is rock hard. They came in a pair. They're from Primark. I should have known, but I thought I'd give it a go. If they worked out, there would have been a great bargain to tell you about. They are shocking. This is very similar shape to the new L'Oreal one that you can get in the US. So I thought it'd be good to give it a go. That's as squeezed as they are. This is them wet, as big as they go and as soft as they go. They're just awful. They don't wash. Like, look at the stain on that. They don't clean. Awful. And that is all of the beauty blenders, battle of the beauty blenders. There's quite a few there. There's absolutely no need to have that many. And I would say if you were just going to pick one, that this would be the best all-rounder. But as I say, there are a few others that have got specific uses that I really enjoy because I'm high maintenance, and why have one when you can have 6? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, please subscribe down below. Posting twice a week. If I can post more, I will. And any questions, any comments, give me a shout, and see you next time. Bye.